Hello, Earthlings. Good morning, everyone. Aaron here, aka AJ, aka Papa. It is December 20th, 2019, and I am back with another Vlogmas vlog to feast your eyes and ears indubitably upon my sweet little cherubs. It's cold again this morning, y'all, and I don't love it. So, for some reason, this morning I set my alarms for 7 a.m., 7:10, and 7:20. I always set my alarms, set 3 of them, always. It's always been the most effective way to get me going, and even still, sometimes I snooze them a couple times. But I got up, got ready, spoke with Zachary for a little bit. I ran to the bank, deposited money, transferred it over. And then went and got coffee, and then I pulled over to my normal spot to do a little vlogging, and I looked at the time, and it's only 9 o'clock, and I don't actually have to work until 11:10, so I may have gotten a little ahead of schedule today, and I'm not really sure why I did that. I'm sitting here thinking, is there something really important that you were supposed to do before you went to work today? And I think other than going to the bank, I don't think there was anything else. So that is always nice when you have a little bit of extra time to just kind of hang out before work. I kind of wish I'd have stayed home for a little bit longer and spent the time with Zachary, but now that I'm out here, it makes no sense to drive all the way back. So do you guys have people like on social media that you really admire? Like, I have plenty of people in my everyday life, like people that I see in person, regularly throughout my normal life that I admire. But I'm talking more about like people who are on the platform that you admire. I know that I do. I have this guy that I met through Instagram. Back when I was doing a lot of work on Instagram, I was really posting a lot and really working on creating an inspirational platform there. And I met this guy, his name is Alex, and he is just on fire right now. And if you look at the Instagram that he runs, you can just see that he is so focused on what his goal is, and his goal seems to be that he wants to help people become successful. And for some time I was talking with him about the possibility of joining his crew of people who are inspiring the world, and it ended up being not the right thing for me. And I'm not saying it won't be in the future, I'm hoping it will be, but he's just so inspiring. Who inspires you on a platform? It doesn't matter which platform, but who inspires you? I know I've got other people that inspire me. For instance, I really enjoy watching The Unnatural Vegan. Although I don't adhere to a vegan diet, I enjoy watching her because there's so much controversy about veganism, and I still watch a lot of those channels because I still agree with a lot of the thought process behind veganism, and still aspire to be back there someday, but right now I have a lot of excuses. But anyway, I really enjoy her. She's very moderate about how she talks about things. She's not a crazy fad diet vegan. She's a very much so about eating a well-rounded plant-based diet. I really appreciate that about her, and I also really appreciate that when people call her out or try to back her into a corner about her belief system, she has no problem pushing back, and I think that's really, really, really great. Yeah, I admire that as well. In the way of inspiration, we can find things all around us at any point in time that inspire us, right? It doesn't have to be people, Quite often I will feel inspired by a certain song, an uplifting, musical moment. Movies are really great. Like, if you can watch the story of somebody who overcame, that's very inspiring. There's lots of ways that we can become inspired. A good book, oh my gosh, there's so many good books that are inspiring. They either tell the story of someone who overcame, or rags to riches story, or they can just be self-help books that inspire you to look introspectively, into yourself and find the good portions of you and amplify those things. There's so many ways that we can become inspired just outside of people, and I think that so often we get caught up in really focusing on the negative aspects of our life, and I know that I get in that cycle as well, and I have to catch myself, stop the momentum, and reverse the trajectory, because when you get in that negative thought process, it's really, really easy to just complicate the issue even more, and likewise it happens when you're focused on positive. It just gets complicated in a better way. So a lot of times we think, and I know that I've been in this thought process as well, that if you're in a period of your life where there's not a lot of inspiring people around you, or you have perpetuated a way of living that has a lot of people who take but don't give very much, we've all been there, and it's not to say that those takers are bad people. They just don't necessarily either have anything to give or know how to give yet. That's a digression. But if you are in that place in your life where you don't have a lot of inspiring people in your life, or a lot of inspiring circumstances in your life, it's important to know that you can seek out that inspiration in places outside of human interaction. So if you feel stuck with the people, you can always get unstuck with the things. And as you start to become unstuck with the stuff that you're reading, the things that you're watching, the things that you're listening to, you will notice that those who aren't willing to give and those who aren't willing to become supportive will slowly shift themselves out of your path. And you would think that it would feel sad, or you have people in your life, you're like, yeah, they're takers, all they do is take, they never give, but I love them. But you'll notice that you'll love them in a different way, or from a distance. So anyway, my point isn't about takers or givers or whatever, and maybe someday I'll do a vlog specifically about that dynamic within human interaction. But what my focus here and what my point is here is that you can seek out inspiration from basically anywhere. It's all about your mindset when you enter into approaching a subject. So, what are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? Are they positive things or are they negative things? It's important. It's also important to remember that the things that are happening outside of you are a direct reflection of what's going on inside of you. So if you're seeing a lot of turmoil out in your outer world and the things going on around you, chances are there's a lot of turmoil inside. Someone once told me a long time ago that you can tell what's going on inside a person by their surroundings. So you walk into somebody's house, and if there's a ton of turmoil in their house, if there's things strewn everywhere, there's no order, there's just stuff thrown everywhere, trash on the floor, things like that, you can tell that person is having that type of atmosphere within themselves. They're not cleaning themselves out of discarded emotion. They are chaotic inside. They have no order within themselves. Look around you. What is happening around you? What kind of things are happening around you? I always notice what's going on inside of me by how my apartment is. If my apartment starts to get really chaotic and overly messy, and the dishes start piling up, and the laundry hasn't been done for a long time, 99% of the time, it's because I've neglected myself in some way, either dietarily or emotionally, or I'm feeling overwhelmed and I haven't dealt with those emotions yet. Usually I notice in my surroundings way before I notice within myself. And once I notice it, I can start to address it inside of me, and then slowly but surely the things around me start to change in reaction to what's going on within. If all of this talk about like internal, external manifestations and all of these things sounds really confusing to you, or even just like full-on bonkers, Don't worry, it is what it is, and I have been of that mindset as well, and I've read a lot of books on it, and it's slowly started to make sense. If you just look at it at face value, it does sound a little crazy, but there's actual psychology and actual science behind it, and you can read any number of books and connect the dots. If you're looking at it from a metaphysical standpoint, I would say there's really great books. Any book by Wayne Dyer is going to be phenomenal. So look into that author if you're looking to read some books on how the internal affects the external. And he does a good job of kind of connecting the scientific to the metaphysic. And yeah, so check that out if you feel the need. If you have questions about anything I've said, post them below and I will answer them. But guys, at the end of the day, the most important thing to remember is to live your life with a smile on your face and just be happy. Be kind to those around you and try to live your very best version of life that you can. And don't focus on anything that you could have done better. Don't focus on any mistakes that you have made. Only focus on the successes, the joys, and the beauty of life. And as you get better and better at focusing on those things, you will notice them more and more in your life, and the beauty that you notice will blossom and become more evident to you at every waking moment. It really is quite remarkable how a change in mindset changes what you view and how you view the world and the actual experiences that you have. And with that, I'm going to leave you guys for today. No more 20-minute vlogs talking about spirituality and metaphysics and all of these things. I'm going to try to keep them to a reasonable length and interact on different platforms. So if you haven't found me on Instagram, do that. And I'm working on getting a page up on Facebook that's not a personal page, but until I have those up, I will just talk to you here on YouTube. I love you guys very much. You have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.